On my way here, I was thinking of what to talk about. And for the past few days, I was trying to think of ways of talking about mental health. But this is new to me because every time I do talks in other places and they invite me to talk about maybe filmmaking or script writing, I never prepare. I like to talk freely. And so I couldn't think of anything specific to talk about. But I saw a video on Twitter. So nagpapalipas ako sa traffic kanina. And I saw a video of an ant. And basically, it's an ant running around a white piece of paper. Tapos yung nagve-video, dinicide niyang bilugan yung ant with a pen. And the ant couldn't get out. And the caption with the tweet said, "Limits exist only in the mind." So imagine if we were that ant. Now let's stretch the ant up. Let's put religious background. Let's put weight that maybe is not fit for society. Let's put social media. Let's put peer pressure into that ant. Let's put family. At sa Pilipinas, may extended family pa. So isama natin yung lolo, lola, tito, tita dun sa ant. Ang dami niyang dala. Lahat tayo yun. Ang dami nating dala. How do we get out of that circle that life draws around us every day? I'm surprised that we can even function. And I really believe in that line that I read, that limit exists only in the mind. I believe that our minds are so strong that one day I can be here speaking in front of you about mental health, but tomorrow I can be crying or depressed over something. And it's funny, a few years ago, in 2015, I was part of a TV show called Ang Provinciano. And there was one taping day where I finally realized that my husband died. I was with the wrong Coco Martin, the twin died. And the whole day we were shooting emotional scenes, puro iyak ng iyak ng iyak. Parang pagod na. And on my way home, my boyfriend then, my ex-boyfriend now, meron siyang ritual na he calls me when I'm in the car on my way home, na pag-pack up na. And he said, "Oh, kamusta taping mo today?" Ganyan. And I guess he noticed that my voice was a bit sad. And so he asked me what the problem was, and I said, "Babe, pwede ba, bukas na tayo mag-usap, namatay yung asawa ko eh." Tapos na-realize ko, teka lang, parang mali yung sinabi ko kasi boyfriend ko yun eh. Tapos sabi ka, namatay yung asawa ko. So nag-sorry ako, and it's something I can laugh about now. But that day, I really believed my husband died. And so many things happened to my character. Nagka-hostage taking, na-hold up ako, muntik ako ma-rape. Nabaril yung anak ko, hindi pala, patay na pala yung asawa ko, na-atake sa puso yung lola ko, and then na-rape finally yung character ko. Naging prostitute ako, and then eventually I was gonna die. So through all of that, nobody knew. I was going through all the experiences with Carmen. And on the week that I was gonna get shot, I had rackets in between taping days. And nobody knew this, but every flight I took, kung may racket ako sa Cebu, yung cellphone ko nakalagay sa Ziploc kasi I was sure the plane was gonna crash. I knew I was gonna die. And sorry. Every day, every time I would ask my driver to take me to set, I was sure we were gonna hit something or something would go wrong and I was gonna die. So it was a week of shit. I'm gonna die. What am I gonna do about it? And I couldn't tell anyone because when you hear about it, it's crazy, you know. I wasn't actually raped. It was my character. I wasn't taken hostage. I don't have a kid. I wasn't actually shot, but I had to feel all of it. And I suffered so much personally, and I still do with every role that I accept. And I noticed the way I deal with it is also through my work. So while I was doing Provinciano, during the days nga that I thought I was gonna die, I wrote a script that eventually turned into a movie last year called Last Night. And when I look at it now, the whole movie is about death. It's about two characters who wanted to commit suicide. So I would never actually commit suicide. I was brought up in a home that was so strict about everything that you can't even think of dying. Yung baka sa oras talaga na totoong mamatay na ako in real life, baka yung pagalitan pa ako ng mommy ko, parang nandun ako. So I expressed my things through work. And when my boyfriend and I were going through something bad, I co-created a movie called Camp Sweet. Maybe because I could already tell we were gonna break up soon. So I noticed my work always expresses what I'm feeling at the moment. But I'm happy that I have that outlet. Because once I let it out, it really leaves me. And I would like to think on most days I'm still happy. But up to this day, I haven't spoken to anyone. So I remember, spoken to anyone professional about this. Because I remember during that time when I thought I was gonna die and everything, somebody from Provinciana noticed, si Pepe Herrera. And Pepe told me, it's unfair for actors here because we don't get debriefed after a role. You are thrown into scenes and you go through so many emotions and then one day you just quit. One day you have to start another project. Sometimes you have to do it simultaneously. You have to talk to someone to remind you that you're not actually that person, that you weren't shot that day, you weren't raped on set, you weren't kidnapped. But we don't have that here. And he gave me a list of numbers of psychiatrists I could go to who were safe naman. Kaso sinabi niya sa akin lahat ng artistang tinreat niya. So I was thinking, it's not that safe if he knew everyone that doctor treated, then I was afraid to be a part of that list the next time he told people. And now that I'm 3 years older, I realized, why was I scared to be part of a list of names who actually got help? I don't know if I'm credible enough to speak about mental health, but I just realized, in our profession, we actually should speak to someone. Actors all over the world have that liberty, but we don't. And we are always expected to be happy, to look good, and yet we don't have people who support us that way. And through the years, I was able to find ways to make myself feel better. I have my Sunday drives, kaya ngayon hindi na ako tumatanggap ng trabaho pag Sunday. I drive by myself on Sunday, sometimes to Tagaytay or to UP. I run around UP alone, and I literally cry in the car. That's all I do. Because the whole week, I'm crying for other people, for other characters, but I never have time to cry for Bella. I'm not even Bella, my real name is Krista. I don't have time to cry for Krista, for everything I'm going through. And one of the reasons I think why I was so scared of actually getting help is because if it got out, I knew at that time my job was gonna suffer. And if my job suffers, who pays for my dad's chemo? Who pays for everything my mom needs? So I can't. Basically, I can't. Up to this day, even after talking to all of you guys, I probably won't get help. But I would say on most days of the week, I am happier. I found a place called the Healing House. It's in Wakwak. I hope you guys can visit it if you're feeling bad or if you have episodes of depression. And basically, this is something I normally wouldn't believe in kasi I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. So we would preach door to door. I grew up in a very Christian environment. There were so many taboos in our lives. We couldn't talk about sex. I'm still very awkward to talk about it. I don't like being touched by people I'm not close to. I don't like getting hugs. I don't like people that are feeling close and touchy-feely. It makes me feel bad. And I hate that because I want to be able to express myself. I want to be able to hug people. I want to be able to touch people and give them, encouragement, but I can't because I grew up in such a tough environment. Also, I remember my mom used to say all the time pag kumakain, may naiwan kang kanin, lagi siyang merong kada butil ng kanin, pawis ng magsasaka. So pati kanin, hindi na problema ko. So, parang, kung pawis ng magsasaka to, hindi ako pwede magreklamo na malungkot ako kasi yung magsasaka, hindi niya kayang malungkot kasi the whole day nag-araro siya eh. You know, I wonder if that's a problem also here in the Philippines. Are we too poor that we can't address other concerns? Kasi before I talk about how bad I feel today, there are so many people dying on the streets, you know, there are so many people right now outside who feel bad as well. So I don't know when it's valid to speak up. I don't know when it's valid to feel bad or to feel sad. Especially since there are so many people watching you, expecting you to be good all the time. All the time. So, anyway, I went to the healing house, and the first thing they said was my energy was off. And I was like, girl, tell me something I don't know. My energy is so off. I want to cry right now. Yun yung una ko naisip. And she gave me so many advices, and these are things I thought of myself also. Na be happy, try to exercise more, surround yourself with good people. We hear about this every day. And you read this everywhere. You even read it on Instagram, it's on quotes. But how do you actually apply it? People can keep on telling you, surround yourself with good people, but when you're depressed, you don't want to move. You're stuck in your room. So you don't want to see good people, you don't want to see bad people, you don't want to see anybody. You're alone. So I was wondering, like, how does this actually help me? Everything she said, I already know. And I said, can you give me something more specific? And she told me to look for the Ho'oponopono online, and I did. Has anybody here heard of the Ho'oponopono? Okay, so the Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian practice. And more than anything, I would say this helped me. It's very simple, and you can trace it back to even what the Bible teaches. So the Ho'oponopono is 4 basic lines that you say in your head. And so far, this has been helping me, and I hope it helps you guys too. So basically, in your head, keep thinking, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. 4 very simple phrases. So be humble enough to say thank you, admit when you're sorry, be grateful for the life you have, and express the love because you don't know, when your end is or when their end is. And this practice came from a Hawaiian doctor who treated clinically insane patients and made them feel better because he kept thinking it in his head and he kept saying it out loud over and over, and it affected them physically, and somehow they were relieved of their pain. And I don't know if it's gonna help you guys, but I just want to share it because it helped me a lot. And now when I feel bad about something, if like there's a role I feel like I could have done but someone else is doing it, or I feel there's injustice in the world, I'm wrongly thought of, I think of those 4 phrases, and somehow it makes me feel better. Because as I say, you can trace this back to even the Bible. God just wants us to love each other and be kind. And I'm happy I was invited today because I still don't know how we can treat this, if we're even at liberty to treat mental health in the Philippines, if we can already do this movement, but I hope we can. And alam mo yun, I know this is a small crowd, but if we can talk to people or if we can help people that we know, I feel like the 5 speakers today would have done their job already, and of course, Tito Boy. So thank you very much. Tito Boy, you can be specific. So kahit sa street child na hindi mo kilala, pag nakita mo kumatok sa bintana mo, to make them feel better, kasi diba they always say like, what you think really goes out into the world. You can say, I'm sorry that I have a better life than you, or I'm sorry that you're going through this life. Please forgive me that I can't help you more. Thank you for still being there and somehow affecting me. And I love you, I hope you feel better tomorrow. So we can be specific.
I will do that.
Right?
My last experience with...
I want to come because I don't believe in mental health until I came here. So thank you to all the speakers. You made me change my perspective. You know why? Because I have so much faith in God. So if I were to ask you, if you have such strong faith, is it really possible for you to be depressed? That's one. And then, based on the speakers that I heard earlier, they kept saying I was depressed, I was in a phase where I was sad, I didn't know what to do, I was physically incapable of doing things. But why? Where is the rationale behind that? I kept looking. And then, from the audience, I don't mean to insult, from the audience I would hear, where was your support system? Was it among your friends or family? I didn't hear God until she asked. So thank you for that. Now I will go out of this room, and now I will believe, I am believing now that it is really an issue, and I would like to help. Being a past president of the Rotary Club, we can help. We have projects and we have funds to do something to change people's lives. But if someone were to ask you about the issue of faith, how would you address that? I would
Let's
just like
go to the first level.
I'm in any service because I feel like I don't deserve a spot. And I know that's wrong because God is a judge. And I know I will go back one day, but I can't right now. And every Sunday, I get reminded by my mom to go and go to church, go to our Kingdom Hall. We call it the Kingdom Hall, but I can't. Maybe this is the, thank you, Kuya. Maybe this is the mental health, or maybe this is the problem. I can't bring myself to go because I feel like I don't deserve a slot. Like that chair is meant for someone who doesn't do wrong. So that's how I level. That's how I can answer the first level question.
The second one was,
It basically revolves around faith. Like, she answered it already.
no, about faith.
Yes.
No, but you had a good point. The second point was about support system.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for the audience. We keep on talking about support system because you can't do it alone. Would you like to comment on it?
I also was irked a while ago when I heard that comment, like, where's your support system? And I remember it was Jasmine who was asked this, like, where's your support system? And I know what you're going through, Jas, obviously not like by detail, but when you are going through this internally, it feels dirty. You don't want anyone else to know, not even your support system. That's why I drive alone on Sunday, so I can ugly cry in my car. And I hope you never, and I'm happy that you've never gone through this. I hope you never have to. But I resented, there was one friend of mine who kept telling me to go to church every Sunday, and I kept